be at the tail end of the line of the cars on the lead lap, but he'll have 4 fresh tires as opposed to 2. That should help him gain track position. He's already back there, so they can afford to take that extra time and get the 4 tires. Earnhardt probably lost about 3 or 4 cars on the racetrack due to that little, it wasn't a miscue, it was just a case of Neil trying to get in his pit and Dale trying to leave at the same time. So Neil gave up his own track position in favor of Dale, and it looks like he's popped it out of gear or buzzed the clutch trying to get away from his pits now. Now he selected gear and goes on.
I tore first out of there for us, like a little rookie. I got second. Let me see what all I got.
Well, shifted into that one okay, Neil.
Back to business for Neil Bonnet. Earnhardt will be in 6th on this restart with Shepard first, Brett Bodine second, Mark Martin third. Let's go to David Haas.
Well, Dan and Michael Waltrip's pit, they're bandaging this car up together with racers tape and with Pennzoil stickers. They want this car to stay together. They've torn the bodywork, got some holes in it, so they're just patching it up with tape and with the trade stickers to try and make the car get through to the finish. And also help its aerodynamics. You don't want any bits of bodywork coming apart at 200 miles an hour because the air gets in it, under it, and of course it's liable to lift the hood right off the car at 200 miles an hour, so you don't want that. So there we see some real band-aids going on this car, and he still doesn't want to get off that lead lap.
They'll probably get a call from the sponsor about getting those things properly placed.
Yeah, got him upside down, didn't it?
Ford's running 1, 2, 3. Shepard, Bodine, Martin. Then Dale Jarrett has his Chevy next in 4th. Then it's Jeff Gordon in 5th. Dale Earnhardt 6th. Terry Labonte 7th. Schrader 8th. Bill Elliott 9th. Kyle Petty in 10th. Front 10. We get a little closer to getting a restart here. It's 1 lap away. 118 laps are complete. 119 when they take green out here.
They still will have to make one more pit stop. Now, Rusty Wallace, who is 3rd in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings coming into this race, for you fans might be wondering about Rusty. We haven't said a whole lot about him today. He's still on the lead lap, currently being shown in the 14th position.
Look from the pace car back over the field here. We get set to scramble another time.
In fact, 27 cars still being shown.
There's that number 2 car that did such a great job up at New Hampshire International Speedway. Rusty Wallace scoring a victory there 2 weeks ago. Had a great run last week, but Earnhardt beat him. And he stays well up in the point battle. Winston Cup standings these days. Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, Earnhardt giving it a real go as they move on into the next part of the season. Head up to Watkins Glen, New York to run that road course. Get ready for Darlington on Labor Day. A week after, they're off at Richmond, Virginia. That incredible track under the lights there this year. And then it's that great run down the stretch to Atlanta in November.
This is the last race of the year. They will run the restrictor plates. Some will be glad of that. Probably most of them. Although it makes for some great racing, good close racing.
So we're ready on this restart. This car will drop off. Pace car will drop off. Shepard will lead the field down. Brett Bodine right with him. Huh. Well, that's the way to get it done. 103 degrees doesn't bother that lady one bit, any more than it does Neil Bonnet.
Well, now Brett Bodine is up there behind the pace car.
Indeed.
So apparently he had gotten out first, and they reshuffled things up there. So Brett Bodine leading, I believe, for the first time today.
Down for the green they come. None of the scoring shows it, but that's the way it shows on the racetrack. And Brett Bodine leads the field down as the Kenny Bernstein Ford. Under green at lap 119, 188 the distance to be covered. Morgan Shepard having an excellent afternoon, stays right there in that second spot.
Dale Earnhardt got off to a slow start. There's quite a distance between he and the other car. You can see that gap in there. You can see how far it is to the other cars. He'll catch up with them pretty quickly, but unusual for Dale Earnhardt to get a slow start. Now, whether somebody was in front of him that sort of fouled him up, don't know. But anyway, here goes Jarrett and Gordon down on the inside. The two Chevrolets teaming up together, trying to pass that group of Fords.
Dale Jarrett for the lead. The defending Daytona 500-mile champion, Dale Jarrett, puts it out in front for Joe Gibbs and company. Jeff Gordon runs out of steam on the bottom.
Yep, he sure did. He just he couldn't clear Brent Bodine when Jarrett did, and it just simply moved him back into the fifth position.
For the moment, it's Jarrett. Here comes Bodine another time. Dale Jarrett working on a third Winston Cup victory. Second in the points to Earnhardt.
Now here is Earnhardt and the car number 24, Gordon, teaming up together down on the inside. So they got a run on him coming off of turn 4.
Improvisational dance out here. Earnhardt to go with anybody he can find as a partner to try to get back up with these leaders. Dale Jarrett. He was 8th in this race back in '91 driving for the Wood brothers, where now Morgan Shepherd sits at the controls. Sure looks like he's in for a better day today.
Cars run well all day for him.
Out of turn 2 and into the back straightaway. Jeff Gordon picks it up.
And 4 cars now on that draft down on the inside. That should give them some momentum. Wonder if Jarrett will move down and try to hit them off. No, they're going to go by him on each side going into that turn.
3 wide and Bobby Labonte back in this hunt. Look at this battle. Ooh, close.
Very close racing.
Brett Bodine. Lucky racer there. And still 3 wide as they come through the tri-oval.
Jarrett's going to go from first to about 15th here. He can't get out of that inside.
He's right in the middle. Inside and outside, they go by him. Got that one right, Ned. He's fallen all the way back. Dozen spots are lost to Dale Jarrett. And Jeff Gordon is in front. Earnhardt is in second. Brett Bodine third.
You see Ken Schrader dicing around. That was the white car that moved up on the outside of Terry Labonte. Greg Saxon, the car number 68, having a good run here today. He stayed right up there in the lead draft.
Earnhardt for the lead. Earnhardt back in front another time. Scoots to the outside. This lets it settle up that racetrack. Skim right up to the wall. Gordon in second. Brett Bodine third. Chevy-Ford battle continues to be a tense and tough one here today. Let's not discount what those Pontiacs have been doing. Look at this run to the bottom. Kyle Petty, speaking of Pontiacs, with Ricky Rudd in attendance, goes to the bottom of the racetrack, and he's a man on fire.
He just got a run on Sterling Marlin, who was running there and moved right around him, and Rudd picked him up. So they'll try to make a move on the inside. Here comes Ernie Irvan behind them. You wonder, which line do I follow? Which group? See somebody making a move, they get a good draft, pick up, and they take off. You say, well, maybe I better follow them. But right now, it looks like that Kyle Petty might be a man to follow because he's coming.
Pretty hard not to take the lane. Earnhardt is in, however. He's up there on the outside. But look at Kyle Petty closing on the bottom. Remember, Kyle just took everything here back in that May Winston 500. The 4-car train at the bottom, trying to overhaul the Express on the outside. Into the corner, Kyle Petty keeps on picking up those seconds, and he's there.
Ken, I think with fresher tires, that inside groove is working. It seems to work better when they have the fresher tires than after the tires gets heated up.
Put a lap on Kenny Wallace. Back to the line they come. Even. Earnhardt, half a car, maybe full car length. Again, Kyle sticks it on the bottom.
And he goes for the lead, and he gets it.
Kyle Petty back in front. Here comes Ricky Rudd, trying to shoot through, and guess who he's got to help him? Ernie Irvan, the number 4 car, right there.
Masters at drafting. All of these guys are good at it, including Jeff Gordon, who's in his first year in Winston Cup racing. He has become very good at drafting.
Keep an eye on Bobby Labonte back there in that 14 car. Keep an eye on a dozen of them all together. Rather, the 22 car and the 14 car right with him. Terry Labonte and Bobby Labonte are almost even, just behind this pack. Bobby Labonte in the 22 having a great run, and the 14, Terry Labonte, who won here in '89, is right alongside. The brothers even down there now. Kyle Petty still keeps the Pontiac free and clear up in front. Earnhardt in second. Rudd dropping to the bottom as he tries to move in again. Pontiac with a 20-race winless streak at Talladega.
Here's Earnhardt down on the inside once again. Wants Rudd to go with him. Maybe you don't need him. We'll see. I think Rudd's going to follow the Pontiac of Kyle Petty.
In this race, of course, Kyle won here in the Winston 500 earlier this year. This is all a matter of just playing this high-speed chess game, just leaving it on the mat and trying to pick the right spots, right?
That's right. You just put your foot to the floorboard, and that's right. And hope you pick the right guy to draft with, and hope that you can get an opening somewhere and have enough momentum to go around somebody.
So there it is. Kyle Petty first, Ricky Rudd, and Ernie Irvan. 1, 2, 3. The Die Hard 500 from Talladega Superspeedway will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
This is friction. Metal grinding on metal. Friction can wear your engine down. Friction can shorten its life. This is Pennzoil, the friction-fighting motor oil. Choose Pennzoil. Use Pennzoil, and you'll get quality engine protection in each and every drop. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
Available at participating Sears Tire and Auto Centers.
The world's top cyclists, the world's greatest race, the world will be there. So should you. The Tour de France today on CBS.
This is CBS.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
We recently introduced Hardee's Frisco Burger with the great sourdough taste of San Francisco. But New Yorkers said, hey, what about our famous rye? So here's Hardee's new New York Patty Melt. It's Hardee's thick quarter-pound burger on grilled New York rye. Crisp bacon and sauteed onions to add some, excitement. And in New York's melting pot fashion, Swiss, cheddar, and Monterey Jack cheese. Now San Francisco's happy. And New York's happy. So is Louisville, Spartanburg, Peoria, Springfield.
Hardee's. To Russia with Love, beginning Monday at 5.
CBS Sports presents the Die Hard 500, sponsored by Die Hard, the official battery of NASCAR. Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. And by Fisher Nuts. It's Fisher flavor, or it's just plain nuts.
Our thanks to Captain Esch and the crew of the Goodyear Blimp, Stars and Stripes, for the many overhead views of today's coverage of the Talladega Superspeedway. We're now 131 of 188 laps are complete, and it's a big war up in front. Ernie Irvan, Ricky Rudd, Kyle Petty, Earnhardt, the front four, as they continue to try to sort this race out.
Caution.
Yellow is back on the track. We got a major crash through the tri-oval. Car on fire coming to the line right here in front of us. It's Ted Musgrave's car, front and rear. And Bonnet's car is also involved in the incident. There are 4 or 5 cars that have crashed here in the tri-oval. There is Neil Bonnet's number 31 torn up front and rear. The Musgrave car is torn up. He's told his crew that he is okay. You're in Neil Bonnet's car. After it took a serious hit, you see the crew coming out, some of the safety crew coming out to that car. There's the 55 of Musgrave.
Fireman right Johnny on the spot to put that fire out because it was right in the fuel cell area.
Lap 131. Bonnet's car lies in the grass just at the bottom of the track. As you exit pit road.
Wow, his car gone upside down. And then comes back on the wheels as we see Musgrave's car sliding up against the wall. Flames coming from it as he comes across the start-finish line.
Into the catch fence went the Neil Bonnet car number 31.
You can see the debris, a tremendous amount of it.
From inside of Bonnet's car.
Wow, that's the kind of lick that Neil didn't want to take, but look at him, he's crawling out of it. That's good news. All right.
Neil Bonnet, okay. Last race, 1990. A life-threatening crash at that time. He said, I have to come back. I've got to run it one more time.
Didn't want the doctors to tell him he had to quit. He wanted to do it on his own.
Taking a look back at this car number 31, which is the car that Earnhardt had driven in the Firecracker 400 down at Daytona. Neil looks okay. Let's see here as he walks away. Looks like he's okay. Let's listen and look again. Neil Bonnet's incident.
You can see he's torn some fence up as the car got upside down, got up into the retaining fence here. Quite a bit of damage to the fence.
The best news of all as he walks away, fence is all torn up, much like that Bobby Allison crash back here in 1987. And there's the Musgrave car, and it appeared in those pictures that you actually saw the Musgrave car up on the 31. Let's look again here.
Well, there,
right up
back,
over
right
Musgrave.
up over it, yeah. And he gets hit by, it looked like the 41 car of Phil Parsons. Or maybe Phil got by and didn't hit him. It looked like he was coming right into it.
So when you saw the Musgrave car from those onboard pictures, Bonnet was upside down, headed for the fence at 190. I don't mean to overstress this 190, but things happen so quickly, so dramatically at this track, at these speeds, and they're going to red flag this event. Red flag is coming out while they do repairs in this fence area for Neil Bonnet's number 31. A red flag is going to be demonstrated to the field as they come by this time. They'll bring them in the position they're running. Musgrave's number 55 stove up. He's out of it. Neil Bonnet walks away. Musgrave walks away. That is the best news of all. Apparently no one up in the grandstand area hurt. We'll wait for any update there is on that story.
And Ken, after Bobby Allison's wreck here back in the mid-80s, they reinforced this catch, what they call a catch fence, that separates the racetrack from the race fence. And thank goodness it has been reinforced because it held him.
And you can see it there, those cables that run along the parallel to the wall itself have been added over the years, and they certainly did their job here. But there is a red flag on the track. This will come at lap 135. We'll be getting a word from Neil Bonnet in just a moment after this hair-raising moment at Talladega, Alabama. Stay with us. 25th annual Die Hard 500 from one of the fastest tracks in the world.
Get off the lights, aren't. It's a Sears Die Hard, no charge.
Across America, people are witnessing a better approach to car care.
Don't worry, you have the Bridgestone Road Handler warranty package. Thanks a lot.
It's an approach that gives you total satisfaction and total confidence. At Sears Tire and Auto Center, we brought in the best selection of name brand tires. And when it comes to price, we won't be undersold. We offer the protection of free emergency jump starts with the Die Hard battery, road hazard coverage, and a coast-to-coast warranty on all brake work.
Take it from your dad, Archie. Always bring your car here.
Sears Tire and Auto Center. We're driven to satisfy.
Mixed nuts never give you enough of your favorite nuts, but new Fisher favorites are all favorites. Pecans, almonds, peanuts, lightly coated with luscious flavors. Toffee, honey glaze, praline, plus large whole cashews, so...
That's my favorite. No, that's my favorite.
Every nut is your favorite. New Fisher favorites.
It's Fisher flavor, it's just plain nuts.
It's coming. The worst breath of the day, morning breath. And ready to meet that sticky, pasty film head on. A whole new feeling of clean. A clean as fresh as snow. Introducing the new cooling formula in Peppermint Scope. Its antibacterial action still kills millions of morning breath bacteria on contact. And compared to that other blue, more people prefer its new cooling formula for leaving their mouths feeling cleaner. Discover a whole new feeling of clean. New Peppermint Scope.
The trick is knowing what to sweat and what to let go. That's what this stuff is all about. It always gives me hair that looks great without a lot of fuss.
Pert Plus. Great hair, no fuss.
Relive the Great American Race in this CBS Sports home video. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. To order by credit card, call now 1-800-999-VIDEO. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. Only $19.98 plus $3 shipping and handling.
The Die Hard 500 25th annual here at Talladega, Alabama is under a red flag. The race has been stopped. The drivers are clambering out of the cars right now while they continue to work on the fence in the tri-oval area. Take another look at what happened here. That is Neil Bonnet upside down over the top of Musgrave.
Car 55 is Musgrave there. Jimmy Hensley in car number 7. And look at Phil Parsons. Great move. Didn't hit him. He was in that bright yellow-looking car. And you see the car number 55 of Musgrave that hugs the wall and spins and bangs into it with flames coming from the car.
Now, again, from Neil Bonnet's perspective, as he came to the tri-oval with Dick Trickle behind him, this is what it sounded and looked like to him. Let's go to Mike Joy standing by with Richard Childress.
Richard, in the wink of an eye, a $100,000 race car is junk. Your comeback driver's on the way to the hospital, and it all unfolded right in front of us standing here. What did you see?
Well, when I turned around, I seen Neil in there. You know, we're not worried about the race car. We got plenty of them, and you can replace them. Our drivers, you know, Neil, we're glad he's okay. I just talked to him, and he said that, you know, he felt real good. Got a bump on his arm. You know, and he was kidding with me about coming in and out of the pit. Said, I won't get in your way no more, I guess, today. I said, well, we're just glad you're okay. But, you know, I'm glad nobody got hurt in it.
The best thing is that's a good, safe race car.
Yeah, you know, we go out of the way to build safe race cars, and all the teams do. And this crashes like that, and like you've seen, that's proof what can happen when you really build a good, safe race car.
Did he give you any indication on the radio what happened? I know he told you he was okay.
No, he thought somebody got into him down there, but he wasn't sure who it was. And when I looked up, he was already in there, you know. And NASCAR does such a super job with the way they put these racetracks together. You can see, you know, the catch fence and everything done its job today. So I'm just glad nobody got hurt in this.
Okay, thanks, Richard. The debris on the track and the tearing of the fence here has prompted the red flag condition. All the cars are stopped, and of course they're not eligible to come to pit road and receive any service under this red flag.
And Ken, I believe that somebody did tap him. I don't know if we can see it in this shot as he comes. He's already sideways here. That's Dick Trickle up there on the outside, and he goes up over Ted Musgrave. But it looked like when we were riding with him from the inside, all of a sudden he was just cruising along there in good shape, and all of a sudden the car just went around.
Something turned it.
Yeah, I think he might have gotten a slight tap from somebody as he came through that trial.
Musgrave really lucky. And so is Phil Parsons.
Well, yes. And there's Jimmy Spencer and Dave Marcus.
Dave Marcus in the blue uniform, the SIG on the back.
Like
and
Loy
I think
Allen.
that's Dick Trickle with them as well.
No, I think that's Loy Allen.
Loy Allen, correct. Yeah. All right, there you see the situation. 134 laps complete here at Talladega.
All across America, people are discovering a better place to buy tires. All the top name brands at one store, only at Sears. And when it comes to price, we won't be undersold. Now through July 28th, get Goodyear's new weather handler with a 60,000-mile warranty as low as $24.99. If you're looking for all-weather performance, you need the Goodyear weather handler. But hurry, sale ends July 28th. Sears Tire and Auto Center. We're driven to satisfy.
I got a new taste that's pure delight. New Pringles sour cream and onion light. That's right. Rich sour cream and tangy onion. Mmm, that taste is really something, cause the dip is in the chips, so delicious on your lips. Look, compare Pringles to regular chips. Pringles have less fat and they're less greasy too. The proof's in front of you. So grab a bunch of this, not that, and get a whole lot of taste and less of the fat. New Pringles sour cream and onion light. That's right. Once you pop, you, and you can't stop.
Remember those old dirt tracks, AJ? The dirt would just heat up the engines.
Two champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland Formula 3.
My favorite win was going to be in '69. I had to give it to you. You shouldn't have even made a half a lap.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf. Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Heck, I still feel if I can't win, I don't want nobody to win. I'll try to remember that, AJ. Do that.
Recently, one of Subway's best customers suggested we offer our turkey breast sub with chips and a drink at a special price. He also suggested a name for this meal deal breakthrough: Abundant Food Consumables with potato wafers and enlarged fluid unit. Not bad, but we call it the Mass Quantities Meal Deal. It's for anyone who has a hearty appetite, or like my friend here, comes from France.
See the Coneheads movie and consume the Mass Quantities Meal Deal at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
While supplies last.
We're back with you at Talladega, Alabama, and the race has been stopped, the Die Hard 500, 25th annual, and you see them working to repair the fence here in the Tri-Oval area, and it's going to take some time to get this job completed. So while they are fixing the fence and
fire and rocks.
Come on, you. Move it, you lemon, you.
Introducing Minute Maid Cranberry Lemonade. We pour every ounce of ourselves into our lemonade.
after about an hour and 8 minutes, we're back with you again at Talladega Superspeedway, and the drivers have been asked to report to their cars. 134 laps have been completed here of the 188, and very shortly they'll send them out. There'll be 2 or 3 preliminary laps, and then we'll get back to racing in the 25th annual Die Hard 500. Now, later on today, before CBS Sports leaves the air, you'll see the conclusion of the Tour de France. We're going to stay right here with the race now as we're getting ready to go, unless there was another caution period, Ned.
And then, of course, if there was a long caution period, we'd bring in the balance of the Tour de France. Now, NASCAR has allowed one crew member to go out to the cars with the driver. They can't look at the right side tires, but they can go and help get them buckled in and be sure that the window net is tight and all of that kind of thing. And then they cannot pit when they once leave where they're positioned there now, but once they come around, then the cars in the lead lap will be able to come in for a pit stop.
All right, let's take a look at some of the incidents that have happened here today as they've really been climbing the walls on this racetrack. Let's go back to a bit earlier. This was the first incident. Robbie Gordon down at the bottom has the air taken off his car by the lap cars there. Stan Smith up on the outside, Sterling Marlin. And that was the end of the day for the Robert Yates racing team.
And it was really a mistake on his part. He got down the left wheels on the flat part of the track, air taken off of his spoiler, and it just spun around. And then the big one here.
Here's the big incident going into turn 1. Stan Smith's car right there, the black car, is in contact with Horton. Horton rolls 3-4 times and then over the wall, down the embankment. And you see the white car of Richie Petty, and the black car up against the wall is Stan Smith. The latest reports, they are running CAT scans on him at Caraway Medical Center. At this time, he is in critical condition with head injuries. That's the latest word we have. These were the scenes right after the incident at the Infield Care Center here at Talladega Superspeedway as they moved Stan Smith to take him to Birmingham, Alabama. The other drivers that were involved in that event, that crash, Horton amazingly walked away. Rick Mast was involved, Loy Allen, Jimmy Horton. But Stan Smith, who was making his debut, is the driver in trouble. And here is the remains of Horton's car. And then there was the Neil Bonnet incident moments ago that has created this 1-hour delay. Watch the top of your screen as they're coming at 190 into the tri-oval. That's Neil Bonnet upside down over Musgrave into the barrier, destroys the car, and Neil Bonnet walked away. Musgrave's car. And Neil Bonnet has swapped the race seat for a seat up here again. Boy, am I glad to see you.
Yeah, Ken, I tell you what, I wanted to make sure nobody gave my job away up here.
It's a heck of a way to do it.
Oh, man, I tell you, that was, thank goodness these cars are as safe as they are.
Isn't it remarkable? Neil, if you of course haven't seen this, but
that was the first time I've seen it right then.
But there's another shot that you ought to take a close look at. Neil, this is your car from inside in those awful moments when it was out of control.
Sounds just like I remember a while ago. The worst part of something like that is when it gets up in the air and it gets quiet. As long as it's making noise, it's on the ground. And once I heard it get airborne, I was really concerned because, you know, when the things head to the grandstand, you start worrying about the spectators then.
Red flag has been lifted. Yellow is out. Field is back out. You see the pictures from some time ago as Neil staggered away from that race car. I see you got your arm in a sling here.
Yeah, I hit my elbow in the back of my arm on something on the roll bars. I just got some bruises, Kim, but I'm just telling you, these cars are so safe, you know, to do something like that. We work every time there's an accident, they redo the structure of the cars to try to beef them up and, you know, take looks like that and get out and walk away. And, you know, sometimes it's not going to be the kind you can walk away, but everything you possibly can do is done to these cars.
What do you think happened?
I just felt coming in the tri-oval, I felt just a little bit of a tap, and I felt the back end of the car go around, and I tried to correct to the right, but it was a good enough, hard enough lick that I felt the rear come out from under, and then it started lifting off the ground. But first off, let me tell you, since they've dropped this green flag, it's been such tough racing, and you bump and touch and hit people, and there's just no way you can avoid it at these speeds, and there's certainly no one out there that would do it purposely. You're going to racing like this, there's going to be contact every now and then, and you just have to pay the price when it happens.
All right, lap 136, a pit stop, topping some tanks here. They still can't get home from here, I believe.
It would be stretching it awfully far. There might be somebody that will try to go that far, but I think that most of them are going to have to come in for at least a dash of fuel. Now, the cars that are in the lead lap are pitting now. They will take another lap, and those that are one or more laps down will be able to come in, make their pit stops, and then we should be able to get to green flag conditions shortly after that.
Did you realize you were going upside down?
I knew when it cleared the ground and it got quiet that I wasn't, as long as the tires were squealing, it was okay. But when it got quiet, I knew it went up. And the last thing I saw at the corner of my eye was the grandstands. And I said, man, I don't need to get up there. You know, it's bad enough to have an accident with some race drivers. We sure don't need to get up in those grandstands. And I think since the accident that Bobby Allison almost did this season,
87.
Every one of these racetracks have put up stress, really emphasized, you got to credit the people that own these tracks for building them up to hold them in there.
Here's Mike Joy.
Ken, among the cars waiting to restart, if Cinderella's slipper could be made of Nomex and leather and have a Simpson patch on it, Bobby Labonte might be wearing it. Bill and Gail Davis own that race car, had to take a provisional, started 41st, missed the show, car ran like a turtle in qualifying.
Yeah, there you go.
He got up to 6th place here. He's in 6th in the draft when they waved this red flag. What's the difference?
Well, I wish I knew. The car just will not run by itself. But, you know, right at the end of practice yesterday, we changed carburetors. And, of course, today we've got the grill open for more air. And it seems to have made a heck of a difference. It still won't run out front. It still won't run by itself. But it drafts great.
Well, this is a place for rookie winners. Gail, what's more nerve-wracking, watching that car of yours right up toward the front or watching our buddy Neil Bonnet go sailing through the air here?
Well, that was pretty exciting. I was parade there, but it's an exciting day for us to come from so far back to up front.
There were some long faces in that garage early this morning, but they've turned around now. And Bobby's one of these 20-some drivers has a good shot to win this thing.
Well, thank you, Mike. If Bobby Labonte can pull off a victory from that 41st starting spot today, it'll be the furthest back that anybody's come since back in the 50s, back in maybe 53 when Fonty Flock won the Raleigh 300. He started 34th in the rather 43rd that day. And I was just thinking the furthest back anyone has ever come to win in this race was Richard Brooks. I think he came from 24th when he pulled it off. So Bobby Labonte as a rookie is doing a whale of a job out here.
He certainly is, Kent. You know, we speculated there a moment ago that about everyone would have to make another pit stop. Let's look back, way back in the race. Bill Elliott made his first pit stop on lap 49. Now, the others had pitted a little bit earlier. We made mention of the fact that he had a radio problem. Then they finally got NASCAR to post his number on the board for him to come in to the pits. Okay, so they ran 2 pace laps. So that's a total of 51 laps. When he made his pit stop there just a moment ago, there were 52 laps to go. Can he stretch it one more than that? Can anybody else do it? Well, time will tell. Some will try. Rest assured. Yep.
Stay tuned. Here's David Hobbs.
I'm with Joe Gibbs, owner of Dale Jarrett's car. Normally you should be going to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, open training season. Is this an exciting enough alternative for you, Joe?
Well, I enjoy this right now. I'm out of the heat. At least I can go in here and get a drink instead of telling the guys and faking it, saying I'm tough and you got to stay out there and go after it.
Well, Dale's been up and down. He came from the middle of the pack, came right to the front, slipped back to 20th, then he was up to 6th before the check of the red flag. How do you think he's going to do this afternoon? And can you make it without stopping again, do you think?
Well, I think this is a redefinition of the word friend. You're really finding out. Today we can't find many. I think we got a chance to make it. I think several other cars do too. I want to say hello to my mom. She's in the hospital.
Thanks very much, Joe, and good luck this afternoon and, of course, to Dale.
25 cars remain in the lead lap. There are now 137 laps complete. 1 lap and we will be racing. 1 hour, 10 minutes, 8 seconds in a red flag condition after this crash in the tri-oval area that brought Neil Bonnet back to the booth.
Maybe for a long time.
Maybe getting some sand out of your eyes still?
Yeah, trying to see what's still hurting. It's gaining on me now. They're getting sore.
When do you really get sore after a crunch like that?
It takes tomorrow you'll be sore, and then the next day, and my neck's already getting a little bit sore, but I'll take the soreness right now. There's nothing else.
You said you couldn't wait to do it because it was so much fun. I mean, here you were upside down into that wall.
Well, it was fun up till then. I was telling you all along I was enjoying myself, but it got real good. I was having a ball till that sudden stop, and then after that it wasn't fun anymore.
Do you want to officially announce your retirement here, Bonnet?
I've opened my mouth before it changed feet. I don't want to try it again.
All right.
That'd probably be it right there. I doubt seriously Richard Childress let me borrow another car.
Mike Joy on pit road.
Well, while Ned had his calculator out, I went running for Mike Beam, who's Bill Elliott's crew chief. And he said on that first run you talked about, Ned, 49 green and 2 caution laps, they only use 19.5 gallons. So he says they're done making pit stops if they go green the rest of the way. He says it's their only chance to beat the Chevrolets today is to stretch it out on gas mileage. They're going for it.
I think they will.
You know, that's unique about racing, Ned. You plan all your strategy and you do everything you can do, and then a radio doesn't work and it shows you how far you can go. That thing giving them trouble possibly showed them that they can go further than anybody else, so they're in good shape.
100 degrees. Nobody's ducking for shade or their cars or the air conditioning. These real fans out here, they've waited an hour to see this one get cranked up again, and we're ready to go racing at Talladega, Alabama. They'll come by with 139 of the 188 laps complete. Talladega is where Terry Labonte said is the only track where you finish closer than we start. We'll see how it comes out today. The last 13 races here, starting back in 89, they run twice a year. Labonte beat Cale Yarborough, Dale Earnhardt, Benny Parsons by a car length. Finishes have been just remarkable. Total margin of victory in the last several races, just 4 seconds. That's total over 13 years in this race. Unbelievable. All right, we're going. In the back straightaway. Urban has it. Rudd is right there. Guess who it is down on the inside, trying to move himself right back up into this thing.
That yellow car is Phil Parsons, who is a lap down.
So
you see those first 7 cars have pulled out a little bit ahead of the other cars. Hut Strickland's running in 8th place. He's the red car there. You see Dale Jarrett and a couple other cars get to the inside, trying to make a move down there.
Well, everybody's all day long protecting that outside lane out there. If they get outside of you, you got to move down to it. Everybody's afraid to get out of line until they get somebody to work with them.
You see 7 cars have pulled away a little bit from the 8th place car of Hut Strickland. But now the cars, Hut Strickland has Bobby Hillen and Mark Martin on his bumper, so now they're beginning to make a move here. Kyle Petty began to make a move also with Dale Earnhardt.
Kyle down to the inside. I want to correct one thing. We're talking about the race back here in May. That was Ernie Irvin all the way. Kyle Petty had a great, incredible run at Daytona. Oh, he's out of this draft. Look at him fall back for a moment. Now he's getting a little assistance.
Bobby Labonte pulled down to go with him.
Earnhardt getting some help on the outside. Bill Elliott there.
It almost looked like Kyle, when Labonte saw Kyle was able to hold Earnhardt even all the way around. He says, maybe I get in there and go with it. We can do it.
Now Dale Jarrett has pulled down there with him. He had a good run going into the turn, so he's pulled down there to see if he can pick up a few positions.
141 now complete, and that trio on the inside beginning to wind them in from Earnhardt's view.
You know, they were single file. They got away from that secondary pack. They keep this up, that secondary bunch will be right in it again.
Earnhardt's trying to debate whether to pull down in front of Kyle and go with him. He decided he'd stay up there in that outer groove.
And it looked like Kyle's nipping at him so bad, he said, maybe I need to go with him. Yeah. Kyle's car showing a lot of strength on that inside.
Well, usually after they have pitted and put on a couple of tires, it seems the inside groove works pretty good for a while. We've seen that in the past in the race here today.
Irvin first, Rudd second, Earnhardt third, Kyle Petty down on the inside in 4th.
He has gotten up to Earnhardt, and that's as far as he can go right now. Now they pulled away just a little bit to try to get down. Now they can move back up in there, but they want to get a little bit of clean air down there and see if they can get a run.
You know, Dale Jarrett's coming right in behind these guys. Labonte, if he could close it, he got lost back there a little bit. He was up behind them. If he could pull up there behind 22, 3 of them might can do it.
Yeah, he got lost back there for some reason. He was up there with them. But
the 2 rookies, Bobby Labonte, running side by side with Gordon as Richard Petty looks on.
The only cowboy hat in the country with a microphone on it, I guess. Look at Kyle's car. I'm telling you, there's some strength. That inside lane just sitting there plugging away at him.
Ken Schrader's had a problem in car number 25. He was up there in that lead draft, has dropped off the pace and is going very slow down the back straightaway, while Kyle Petty continues to try to move around there.
See Hut Strickland coming into the frame. He's in 8th, and right behind him is Bobby Hillen in 9th. The Junie Donlevy car still looking for its first top 10 finish of the year, and Bobby Hillen has it up there right now.
I'll tell you what, the 2 of those guys, with Kyle Petty and Bobby Labonte, they've made 1 car linked up. They've got completely clear past Earnhardt, and now they're trying Rudd.
And you got to respect Bobby Labonte for hanging down there on that inside right behind Kyle Petty, and they are just barely inching up there.
Schrader pitting.
Yet when that was happening, Ed, we saw an opening on the right side there, and they didn't jump in it. They're going to keep that buddy system going.
Field is in turn 3, and here comes Kyle, ready to challenge, and Bobby Labonte in assistance with the number 22. The rookie, Bobby Labonte, looking for his best career finish.
Kyle slips out almost into Rudd coming off the turn.
He had to lift just a tad.
I doubt it. No, I don't think he did.
He just almost slipped out. It's hard to lift.
Yeah.
I tell you what's crazy, from the time they dropped the green flag while we go till you pit, you're on the floor.
You never lift?
You never can. The draft is not to the point now where you can get up and roll out of the throttle. You draft flat on the floor. Heard a lot of drivers talking about it, and I was amazed today how you just very seldom can get it off the ground.
Burn piston in car number 25 put Schrader on pit road.
Well, I wondered how many cars would be affected by that long wait. They had the cars all heated up, and then they sat out there and cooled down. I'm sure they did put the oil cooler I mean, the oil heater on the cars, but still you wonder how it affects them. And apparently Ken Schrader's the first victim.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're right, Ned. That's a big change on that engine, so they're cooling down. They like to crank these one time and use them up.
Yep. Well, here comes, could be a change for the lead. That's Kyle Petty. Yeah, he had by about a foot when he came across the start-finish line.
146 now complete. Here's Mike.
Ken, I've talked to the crew chiefs of all the top 6 cars, and all but one said they can go the distance comfortably on this tank of gas. That crew chief said, we can't make it, but we're going to act like we can. I won't tell you who he is.
We heard in the background that somebody's motor was blowing, and that was from a radio.
Yeah, but I saw car 24. Looked like Gordon dropped to the inside, so he was right up there. And I think he's fell back. There he is on the inside, way in the back of this pack, just to the... There's another car. There's the 40. Maybe he had to live for that car, but the 24 lost the draft too.
Leaders up front.
Battle for the lead continues. The Die-Hard 500 will continue after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
Another bride,
Another groom,
another sunny honeymoon.
another season, another reason for making whoopee.
New Heinz salsa style ketchup.
That's what you get for making whoopee.
This Family Works moment is brought to you by Heinz.
Another tip from Quinn, family detective.
It was the case of the disappointed dad. Pops gave me a call and said his son wasn't trying hard enough in football. So I asked him, does the kid really want to play, or is he doing it because you want him to? Find out what the boy really wants to do and encourage him to go for it. It's better sharing in his dream than forcing him to live out yours.
Cops, Monday at 7:30 on Channel 3.
Working lap 149. And Dale Earnhardt switches to the inside as Kyle Petty moves in front. Ernie Irvin in second. Bobby Labonte down there needs to find a place to hide in that outside line now, not get left out.
There's Jeff Gordon, who had made that pit stop, came out in front of the leaders, gets completely down out of the way.
That's what, excuse me, Nate, that's what I was interested to see. Would Kyle bear with the 22 and stick with him on that inside? Yeah, he could have moved up and had to leave, but 22 helped him get there, and he's going to fight it out with him.
Okay, that's very gentleman of him to do that.
See, he could actually be leading the race in that outside lane, but the 22 helped him get there. He didn't want to just
not going to leave him alone.
Throw him in the ditch. He's bringing him with him.
The 200 cars, the 25 and the 24, had trouble within one lap of each other. Schrader behind the wall, and now a lap down. The 24, Jeff Gordon comes back out. And look at this battle for the lead.
Now Earnhardt, look at him. He goes up in there. He's going to make it 3 wider. His car just drifted up there, Neil. He probably couldn't help that. He just got pulled up there with the air.
Looked like he made a big slide up in there. In that inside lane, usually they'll go by you on both sides.
Yeah.
But Strickland's way down low. Earnhardt's trying to get a hold of those cars in front of him, but usually when you get caught in the middle, you're going back.
Yep. Yeah, you don't get much draft help when you're down there. And you certainly don't have much steering room there either. Earnhardt's caught up there on the outside now as others go by down on the inside. Here's Greg Sachs down on the inside of him. Now Dale Jarrett slips up in front of him.
Looks like Kyle Petty is saying, come on, Labonte, now you helped me get here, but I can't stay on that inside forever.
I think he gave it up. I think he decided to better get up there and do his own thing out front.
First to 16, 1 3/10 of a second.
There's Earnhardt going by Jarrett, putting him in the middle.
And there comes Hut Strickland trying to help Labonte. That's 2 forwards down on the inside. They'll play that system with a different... Now look at it, there's Kyle Petty. He said, buddy, I hate I left you back there. Let me drop in there and give you a little bit of help. He pulled down, trying to pick that 22 car back up.
Not for long, however. Labonte down there again by himself on the inside.
He had Greg Sachs coming up, but Greg moved up behind Ricky Rudd. So Labonte is there. Boy, that car is strong.
Isn't that incredible?
Staying down there by himself.
But of course, he's come from a provisional starting position from 41st. So they've got something there.
I saw Jarrett down on that inside, 3 deep. It looked like he got a good run coming off turn 2.
I don't see him in the picture yet, so I don't know where Greg got it. There he is.
There he is. Dropped the bottom.
He kind of got caught in the center, like you was talking about that shuffle, and it looked like he picked up a little bit of help here.
Bobby Labonte's number 22.
Now that inside's beginning to hurt him a little bit as the outsiders go by, unless Jarrett can get up there to him.
I tell you what, he's doing a heck of a job holding his own. He's losing about a car length a lap.
Have to pinch it a little going into one. Whoop, almost up into the 5.
Yeah, he sees that little opening between the 4 and the 5, and I guarantee he'd give you anything to get that real estate. He says, if I can just get in some hole around here, I can race these guys.
Well, this is looking almost like the last couple of laps here in May when they turned them loose with just a few laps to go and everybody beating and banging and switching positions, and they're switching positions back in there.
Kind of surprised that not anyone jumped in there with Labonte as good as that thing of his is running. Well, here comes a crew right behind him. Didn't have much choice. That's the side they're on. And when they get to him, we'll see if they can work their way in.
We're in the last 100 miles. Nosing down toward the finish of this one. 152 laps complete, 404 miles down. Look at that struggle. Hut Strickland now in the middle.
Now Labonte has moved up into the outside group.
4th. Leader continues to be Kyle Petty. Has that Pontiac out in front. In 2nd, Ernie Irvin, and 3rd is Ricky Rudd. The 4th spot, Sachs falling back into 5th and up into 4th. Bobby Labonte from the 41st position. More from the Die Hard 500 shortly.
Introducing Ford Taurus SHO and the Craving. If you've had a craving for a truly sophisticated performance sedan, may we suggest our 24-valve, 220-horsepower Taurus SHO, now available with automatic transmission. Think of it as caviar for the power-hungry.
Have you ever opened doors
I'm home
with the sound of your voice? Our card, please. Carried your medical history in your wallet. Your wife's gonna be just fine.
So this is where we stand on the atrium stage.
Or attended a meeting.
I really like what you guys have been doing, but
in your bare feet.
I may have a few other ideas.
You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T.
Here's one way to make your all-purpose vehicle a true all-terrain vehicle. Here's another, the Goodyear Wrangler GSA with triple traction. It's like getting 3 tires in one. You get an area for quiet highway traction, for wet weather traction, and for rugged off-road traction from Goodyear. Wherever you drive, on the road, off the road, down the highways, wet or dry, get the tire that's like 3 tires in one. Wrangler GSA, only from Goodyear. You'll know why we like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
If you thought Banana George Blair had found the fountain of youth,
I'm 77 and still barefooting.
you'd be half right, because the one he's found is actually for his car. With a little Armor All Protectant, George restores the beauty of his dashboard and seats, and in minutes it helps protect his tires from fading and aging.
It keeps my car looking almost as good as me.
There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent. Armor All. 16-ounce Armor All Protectant, now just $249 at participating Sears Tire and Auto Centers.
There are 156 laps now complete. The man on the move is Greg Sachs. He's flying through traffic. You see Ernie Irvin out in front. Sachs has just come into 2nd place.
He has made some gutsy moves. He passed Bobby Labonte up on the outside and went around Kyle Petty and moved into 2nd place. That car is on the move. But here comes Kyle Petty. He's on the move too.
Kyle Petty into that 2nd spot. We'll be showing you the final segment of that Tour de France coverage later today. It's coming up later here on CBS. We wind down this 25th annual Die Hard 500. Ricky Rudd's car number 5, you don't see it in the picture, it just a lap ago fell off the pace. So that means that all 3 Hendrick cars had a problem and won about 10 laps of each other. Rudd was running right there in the top 5, and then it just went away. Here it is, well off the pace. Bottom of the racetrack now. Falling out of the lead lap.
Every one of them apparently having engine problems, and we said that that long wait could affect somebody.
And you said The Dale Jarrett had one of those engines from Hendrick today?
That's the Hendrick Motorsports engine. Yeah, that's all he runs. It's the Hendrick Motorsports engines.
It's running because he's been fighting that inside as tough as anybody. And he's holding his own right there.
He's been picking off one at a time, getting back up there. He dropped back to about 12th to 13th, but now back up there trying to take over 5th.
Well, it looked like Labonte came down. I thought Labonte was going to go with him. I don't know they used it. They was that close. They got together.
So. Dale had to back out of the front.
Earnhardt has led 55 laps today. Irvin 50. That 5-point bonus for leading the most laps. Irvin continuing to lead right now. Kyle sits second. And Greg Sachs still having a fine race. Here's Mike Joy.
Robin Pemberton, Kyle Petty's crew chief, told me it doesn't matter much whether Kyle leads or if he's in the draft. But his car is working very well on the bottom. The problem is the majority wants to run the top lane, and it's majority rule around here until you get down to a couple laps to go. Let's go to David Hahn.
I'm with Gary Dehart. What's up with Ricky Rudd's car? Do we know?
David, right now we think we probably dropped the valve, but we're not sure. It's skipping.
That's 3 of the Hendrick motors in just a few laps. Is there any significance on that? Was it that long stop, do you think?
It could have been. Anytime when you heat something up like that and cool it back down, it could have a problem.
Tough day at Talladega.
Another car that has fallen back is Elliott. He scrubbed right up to the wall a little while ago, and he has been falling back out of this lead group. Bill Elliott in the Junior Johnson Ford, which is set on the pole. He's back out of that front group, back to about 18th at the present time. Bobby Hillin has taken himself into 5th. He's right behind the front 4.
And Greg Sachs has gotten himself into position. He dropped back. A bunch of cars have gone around him in the last lap.
It looked like he was going to try to make one move, and he got out of line. And boy, look here, he's about 8th or 9th place now.
That really cost him.
Never see the 6 car, Mark Martin, him and Terry Labonte down there, along with the 16 car. They're going to give that inside a run now.
Hillin to the outside, stretching for another position, right up on the outside. 12 cars in the lead draft.
Well, the Junior Dunleavy crew have got to be on their feet and some big smiles on their face. Best run they've had this year. They ran off the good in the Daytona 500, got caught up in a wreck. But Bobby Hillin ran very well there. They're looking forward to this race.
Look how stout that 22 is, though, Ned. Back comes that Bobby Labonte on the inside. Brett Bodine trying to give Hillin a little help here. From the back of Earnhardt's car, take a look at that fight. That's the Junior Dunleavy car on the outside, number 90. Ran second in this race way back in '72 for the old Kia Cup chief, Ramos Stein.
Well, Labonte was able to slide up in that opening. That's going to help him.
That was the year James Hilton came to victory. Dunleavy car really running well here today. Of course, Bobby Hillin, his only victory was here, 86. 86 when he pulled that big upset with the Stavols. Still Irvin leading, Kyle Petty second. Inching his way along, Earnhardt finds himself in 3rd. We're on the 2.6-mile high banks at Talladega, Alabama, where a decision is to be rendered in about 26 laps.
People are selling tools today on the market that I don't even think they know where they're made, and they're not a quality tool. One thing about the Craftsman tool, it's made here, and you know the quality's good.
1,600 Craftsman hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever.
If something happens to it, you can take it back, and you know where to take it back because you know where it come from.
Only at Sears.
It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard oil filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
If it were just to win more trophies, we wouldn't be here. But there's a side to Ford racing you won't find in the sports page. It's learning how to make your car safer by racing 200 miles an hour in heavy traffic. And learning how a granite roller coaster can make your truck even tougher. Because when it comes to developing technology for your Ford, there shouldn't be any limits. That's why we race. Of course, we're not about to give back all our trophies. Have you driven a Ford lately?
If you want to know why most NASCAR teams use a Sears Die-Hard battery, just ask a guy who didn't use a Die-Hard. Die-Hard, the official battery of NASCAR. For more power when you need it most.
This is John Roberts. Midwest flood levees start to buckle, and guerrilla rockets hit Israel in a new round of warfare. On tonight's CBS Evening News.
CBS Sports' presentation of the Die Hard 500 has been sponsored by Die Hard, the official battery of NASCAR. Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Goodyear, #1 in tires.
We're back. 438 miles complete. 165 laps this time by gets us to 438. The Goodyear blimp giving us these great shots. Stars and Stripes based out of Pompano Beach, Florida. At the controls, Captain Dick Ash from Sunrise, Florida. Neil Bonnet and Ned Jarrett up here at the booth. They have Neil back with us, Ken Squire here, and David Hobbs, Mike Joy down there for whatever is going to happen on pit road in these final moments. Playing that card close to the vest for that final pit stop, trying to make it home.
And many won't have to stop.
Yeah, we almost just overlooked that, but it's going to be close with some of those guys. Yes. We heard Robin Pemberton talking about Kyle Petty's car a while ago, how good it ran on the bottom. The last couple of laps, he drove right to the bottom and pulled away from those guys a little bit. He's kind of testing that car. Look what a run he can get on those guys when he takes that bottom lane. And I don't know if that's going to be enough cushion on that last lap to hold that group off behind him. Takes him virtually that back straightaway to reel him in.
And as you see, they shuffled them another time. You now have Kyle Petty first, Dale Earnhardt second, Ernie Urban is found third, Bobby Labonte is fourth, Hill in fifth, and in sixth is Brett Bodine, Dale Jarrett seventh, Mark Martin eighth, Terry Labonte right in that group.
And those 9 cars can have pulled away a little bit from the pack of cars behind them.
9-car lead draft. Here's Mike Joy.
Tim Brewer is the veteran crew chief for rookie Bobby Labonte. He's with Junior Johnson for a long time. He's going to clock his car as he comes past here at the start-finish stripe. Radio the time to Bobby right in the middle of that lead pack. Tim, where would you like him to be in that pack?
Behind Ernie Irvin or Kyle, either one of them. You know, the car runs pretty good. And those guys today, they've been kind of looking out for Bobby a little bit. So either one of those two guys would be a pretty good guy to run with. But don't expect no friends here on the last lap, because I got a feeling you couldn't find one.
Well, now Kyle has told us that his car works real well on the bottom, and it looks as if Bobby's does too.
Our car ran on the bottom awful well earlier today. You know, they're out there just kind of playing with each other right now. I don't know who needs to be where, but you know, our car runs real well with Ernie or Kyle, so that's the place I'd like to see.
Brewer's a poker player. I know he knows more than he's telling.
Trained by Richard Childress in the old days. And then, of course, Junior Johnson.
Yeah,
there's a couple of
years he spent there didn't hurt him.
Started out in the Grand American ranks with Childress back when Richard was a driver. Bobby Hillin still hanging tough in fifth, and that Brett Bodine looks good in sixth. First pack to second pack. The front 9 is about, from this group back to the next group, about 2 4/10 of a second. So if they start racing each other side by side, there's a pretty good chance. As we saw yesterday, it was amazing. Michael Waldrop pulled up to run beside Earnhardt. 2 laps to go. There was a group of 4 cars that were almost 300 feet behind them. And on the end of that group was that kid LaJoy. LaJoy wound up. And those two started to run together up in front, Waldrop and Earnhardt. LaJoy, that whole pack caught up, and LaJoy tried to run Earnhardt down at the line. It was a heck of a finish, and it can happen here. These front cars decide to dice it, but I don't think they will.
Well, I don't think so. There you see Terry Labonte is about to lose the draft of that group of 8 up in front of him. He is just about too far behind now to catch up by himself. So that second pack of cars probably will catch him.
See that line that Kyle Petty takes where he's just a shade down from everybody else out of 2? Gets a good scoot, and he's right back out there in line as he goes down that long back straightaway.
I tell you, he has a good option to do that. If somebody follows him down there, there's a good chance somebody behind him will go high around him. So he's got that option to get in there low. Some of these other guys, they can't do that. If they drop low, somebody drops on the top side of them and they lose that position.
You saw Dale Jarrett pull out there to make a challenge.
They just passed Brett Woodine coming off of that turn, and they're about to lose the draft of those top four if they aren't careful.
The top four took advantage of that.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy. In one lap, just some discipline between the front leaders, and I'm telling you, they can get away.
Yesterday in practice, Bobby Hill and Dale Jarrett hooked up together and ran some 195, 196 mile an hour laps. So that's the position they're in right now. Let's see if they can catch back up to that group.
18 laps to go.
You got the guys up front playing defense, and the guys in the rear, they're on offense. They're trying to get up there, but these two cars now, they're closing it back in there. They're just like you're saying.
Those cars work well together.
90 car in fifth, the 18 car Jarrett in sixth. Trying to close down on these leaders. Kyle Petty, Earnhardt, Ernie Irvan, and Bobby Labonte driving the Winston Cup race of his life. David Hawks.
Okay. I'm with Doug Williams, Bobby Hillen's crew chief. He's running real strong right in the last part of this race.
David, we feel right happy right now. The Pilot Myers Ford Thunderbird's hauling the furniture right now. We'll just hope we can stay in line and keep our position. We'll have a good finish.
Where do you want him to be on those last 2 or 3 laps?
Right where we're at, we're pretty well pleased. You know, we're going to let the front jockey around a little bit and we'll see what happens.
Has that 40 horse got the power to win this race?
We feel like it does. We're still going to pull for it anyway. Leave it up to the good Lord.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, David.
The good Lord and Bobby Hillen.
That's right.
Bobby's going to have a whole lot to do with that.
Dale Jarrett's around. Dale Jarrett looking him over on the inside, pulls back in line.
They did shake Terry Labonte off the end of that deal. They'd like to shake a few more off before they get it down and get as few cars as they can, but this group we've got here, all of them are plenty strong to stay in it.
If you got 8 cars there now, and that second group of cars, which is led by Morgan Shepherd, is about to catch Terry Labonte now.
And they possibly could get up and go again. Kyle's car seems to be so good down low. When he turns down there, he pulls away. And that's amazing that he's got the strength to just get him a little distance right there.
And he does it in that second turn all the time. But here's Earnhardt catching him up.
Tell you what, that second turn, it's nice to have a lead, but when you come off turn 4, with this start and finish line all the way down here in turn 1, you need that lead coming off turn 4.
Martin made a pass on Brett Woodine coming off of turn 4.
Gets him a spot.
Moves him up to 7th. Drops Woodine to 8th. And Wodine's going to have a tough time hanging on to the draft. He's back about 3 car lengths. He's going to have to hustle to stay up there with him. He has nobody behind him to help him. You can see there that those 3 or 4 car lengths that he's behind. He might be able to, I believe he is going to be able to pick back up. Yep, there he comes down the backstretch. He's picked that draft right back up. Good drive.
The interval from this pack of 8 to the next group back now stands at 5 seconds as they drive a very smart race out here and wait it out.
Less than 15 laps to go.
14 when they come by. There's Irvin just sneaking a peek, then drops back in.
Every one of them sitting there now, what I need to do to pass that guy in front of me? What's that car up there going to do that's going to help me or hurt me?
The tough part about it, you'll kind of get you a game plan, and you'll make your move, and nobody else will do anything you want to do. It just kind of throws everything in a big scramble, but I guarantee you these guys are plotting it right now.
There you see that second pack coming to the stripe.
There's Dale Jarrett.
Yep,
right up on the top side around Bobby Hillen. That's going to take the 6th car with him around there.
For 5th.
Hillen tried to pull in. Looks like they got together on the back straightaway. Where did they go?
So that he and Brett Woodine maybe touched a little bit.
Looked like they got together. I don't see them on the tail end of that draft. I don't know if it shook them loose. Yep, they got together a little bit when they tried to come up. It looks like it's going to break them off the lead.
Well, if Brett Woodine could get a little help from Hillen, that could get him back in here. There is time for them to catch him back up if they start racing up in front here.
Yep. They start racing each other. I don't think we're going to see a lot of passing up front there for another few. Well, just as I say that, look at Dale Jarrett move up on the outside.
Well, around Bobby Labonte.
And Mark Martin coming right with him.
That's the way Dale Jarrett's car, that was the strength of his car at Daytona Beach, Florida, when he won the 500. He was able to drive around them in the corner and just take that position away.
Well, he's done it here again.
Bobby Labonte dropped down to the inside and shuffled right back into that group.
And what did that do for Brett Bodine and Bobby Hillin? They're still pretty far back.
There they are.
There's Brett's in a better position. Hillin's the one that's about to lose the draft.
Brett's sitting there just kind of inching forward, trying to say, come on, baby, pull on back up there.
Got that thing to the floorboard.
He's on the verge of losing that draft.
9th is Morgan Shepherd. Going 10th is Bodine. 11th is Dallenbach. 12th is Sachs. And Terry Labonte is in 13th. Bill Elliott back in 14th. Gant behind him.
And boy, I'll tell you, they are doing some racing in that second pack. They're running three abreast going into turn 1.
There's that second group. There you see Jeff Bodine in the Bud Moore car.
Terry Labonte up there in the black and white car. He was in the lead draft a while back, but we noted that he had lost that draft.
Sachs in between them. And here comes Sachs after Bodine.
Yes, Sachs was running second just a while ago. Moved right up in the second position and tried to make a pass or got caught on the inside and was all the way back to the second group.
This is for 9th. 177 of 188 complete this time by. And the leaders are there.
Bobby Hillin has lost the draft, and Brett Bodine has just about lost the draft of the lead group as well. Now there are 6 up front. This is the second pack of cars just across the start-finish line going into turn 1. Here are those 6 cars that are in the lead pack. Kyle Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Ernie Irvin, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin, and Bobby Labonte.
I tell you, when they come around this time, there's going to be 10 laps to go. We're going to get down here in just a minute and find out what they're going to do.
Pontiac, Chevy. Ford and Ford, 5th and 6th.
Who has enough gas to make it? It's going to be close. Some won't, and a couple will.
And I'll tell you something that might enter into this. If one of those cars runs out of gas and slows the guys behind him down, they're out of it too. If one of these cars runs out, whoever's behind him is going to pay that same price because they're going to have to lift and dodge him, and the leaders are going to get away. It's also a pretty tricky situation to run out in front of somebody at 180 miles an hour without getting run over. You know, used to we'd see these guys in the draft when they were concerned about fuel mileage, want to get back there in second place. Now they contend to us that they can get just as good a mileage in front. And that must go back, Ned, to that part where you just leave it on the floor right where you're at.
Yep. Right to the floorboard. It doesn't matter whether you're in front or in second place.
And not only that, if that guy up front is getting a lot better fuel mixtures, getting clean air going in that carburetor, he might actually get better mileage.
Well, he might do it. Plus the fact that the cars back in there might occasionally have to back off a little bit, and every time you pat that accelerator, you put a little bit more fuel through it.
Yeah, the squirters kick in and give that little extra shot. The extra shot right now is what you don't need.
A year ago here, Kyle Petty finished in 6th when Ernie Irvin came home first. That number 4 car, Sterling Marlin, then was in 2nd. Bill Elliott had himself a great run that day. Brought it home in 5th, just in front of Kyle. For the moment, Kyle has the advantage, coming around a complete 180 this time.
Yeah, Ernie Irvin getting a little bit itchy.
Yeah, he's thinking outside.
Yeah, he was.
Pontiacs have scored 6 wins in 17 races this year. And a pretty good season of it. For the moment, Kyle Petty has him up in front of that Chevrolet contingent.
8 laps to go.
Earnhardt, Irvin, and Jarrett. Then the Ford, Mark Martin right there. From Earnhardt's viewpoint.
See, Kyle ran a little higher that time, a little different line than they saw before. I'll tell you what Kyle Petty's wanting is this 4 car and 3 to get to racing behind him. What he doesn't need is both of them to work on him. It's going to be a scramble at the end.
Jarrett dropped back a little bit on that last lap, slipped a little bit in the turn. Looks like he's catching back up a little bit right now. There's Irvin. Looks like he's trying that. He's looking up there. He's testing the waters up there just to see how the car sticks and what kind of a run he can get off of that turn.
The water looks deep to me up here.
7 to go.
Stepped in, almost went over your head there.
A reminder, we'll be bringing you the conclusion of the Tour de France following our coverage of the Die Hard 500 here this afternoon. Mike Joy.
Well, as the laps are ticking, so is that fuel meter, if there would be one, in Kyle Petty's car. Car owner Felix Savati's and crew chief Robin Pemberton are conferring, and they say they are within a lap of being able to go the distance. That means either they're going to come up a lap short or they're going to be coughing on fumes when they get to the line, because they're not stopping.
After a day like today, no stopping in after this.
No, you just run her till she runs out. That's all you can do.
If we were to stop now, you're going to lose over a lap anyway.
Yeah.
It's run her out, finish it.
Take what you get.
David Hawks.
Well, I just spoke to Larry McClure, the owner of Ernie Irvin's car, about 10 laps ago, and he told me there was no way they were going to stop and they could make it easy. But, of course, as Neil Bonnet pointed out, if one of those front cars runs out of gas, who knows, that second group may yet steal the prize here at Talladega. So it's really nip and tuck. They all say they can make it, but some say they can't.
Look at Earnhardt trying that high line with Irvin. Kyle's down low. They're playing some chess right now. They're shuffling them around some different places on the track.
Earnhardt victorious yesterday. A year ago, Irvin won on Saturday, came back, won on Sunday. Earnhardt would like to duplicate that today. Here he is, moving to the inside, taking a look on the bottom.
I think he's sitting there with a grin on his face right now. I think he's where he wants to be. Now, whether he can do what he thinks he can do, I don't know. They're coming up on a big bunch of cars, lap cars. Don't know how that might affect things, but there are about 5 cars in front of them there that they will pass before this race is over.
We got 5 to go, too.
And Ernie Irvin keeps looking on the outside, keeps climbing higher on the bank. This time Earnhardt goes with him. Back straightaway, all the way on the bottom is Kyle Petty, where he's been almost every lap. And now you're riding with Earnhardt as he closes in another time.
Well, Kyle Gaines, as Neil has pointed out several times, coming off of that turn, but Earnhardt running higher. He has a little bit more momentum coming off of that turn and pulls up on him.
I just saw some kind of hand signal back to the 4 car. I don't know what that was all about. I didn't know if he ran up on him. Look at Earnhardt's car wiggling right there.
Boy, it really is. That's the second time he's done that coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, it's a standard deal with drivers when you come up on traffic. You throw your hand up, let them know you're coming up. That's probably what that move was.
Through lap traffic. Wilson, Michael Waldrop, Jimmy Means,
Dick Trickle.
Yeah, they need to clear this traffic where they don't have to deal with this.
And here comes Irvin down on the inside of Dale Earnhardt as he came in like traffic, but he couldn't make the pass. He thought he had him there for a moment, but just couldn't quite do it. Here comes Earnhardt now, and Irvin gonna come with him.
2.5 laps to go.
Boy, they're gonna take Kyle out. It's gonna leave that whole inside line right there. Maybe that hand signal I was talking about wasn't traffic. Maybe they set it up. You know, a lot of times you'll wave and say, point to the back straightaway and tell a guy, let's make the move this lap.
Earnhardt singing Come Dance With Me to Ernie Irvin. And Irvin came right with him.
3 Chevrolets out front.
Jarrett goes to 3rd. Chevy up in front. Kyle's Pontiac drops to 4th. Mark Martin stays right there in that 5th spot, and Bobby Labonte in 6th.
Well, I bet you one thing, Kyle Petty's move will be to the bottom. If Jarrett goes to the bottom under him and 42 goes with him, they got a strong car to work that bottom lane.
And look at Earnhardt begin to use the backstretch. Earnhardt has led 56 laps. Irvin has led 56 laps in this event. Down to it.
But look at Irvin closing in turn 3 and 4. That's where this long front straightaway with the start-finish line way down here turn 1 is going to play into this.
It's a little bit like we played Daytona, remember? Earnhardt out in front, and within striking distance was Jarrett in that last shuffle.
It'll be tough for him to make those same moves and make it work here today, unless he has a whole lot more than I think he has left in that Chevrolet.
There's going down.
There's Kyle.
Down the inside.
Yeah.
And we saw him do this before. We saw him come from back there up to the front, but he had some help. Jarrett's thinking about giving him that help.
He's thinking about it.
Which lane do I go with?
Yeah.
And boy, look here now. While they're doing this, Earnhardt's getting him a little breathing room out
That's
there.
the best thing that happened to Dale Earnhardt for those guys to get to racing back there side by side.
Gives him 10 car lengths.
The only thing about that now, if they get back in single file, they'll eat him alive that far out there by himself.
Yeah, because they'll get a big run on him.
Ernie just doesn't want to give it up, nor does Kyle.
And here comes Jarrett down on the inside.
White flag coming out this lap. There's Kyle Petty up there. He's the strongest guy in that bunch. Looks like with a chance to run on Earnhardt. And there he goes to the inside.
Final lap. Kyle dropped to the bottom. Irvin goes up on top. Kyle pushes it hard.
I guarantee Irvin's going to go 3 wide to the bottom with Jarrett. There's that bottom lane open for him.
All right, this is the run for the money. Last lap. Irvin there on the inside. Earnhardt on the outside. Kyle works him over.
Who's going to help this? Which one does Kyle Petty get behind? Whoever he gets behind's got a shot to win this race. here comes a 6. He's going to enter into it.
Martin with a good, solid run. He might be able to dip under both of them, or all three of them coming off that.
About 5 seconds to pay dirt. Here they come. Irvin on the inside.
That shortcut on the inside is going to be of some help.
As they come to the line, dead even.
I don't know. I think like the 3. I think Earnhardt won the race. It was awfully close.
Or is this Talladega? Do we do this every time we race up here?
Isn't that something?
Unbelievable to run the kind of race that's been here today and finish it with a few inches.
Give it to Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt has done it again. At Talladega, the Dega Dominator pulls it off, and the 22 comes across out of gas. Here comes another car out of gas. Jeff Purvis to the line, running out of fuel. Look at this finish.
Look at the 4 wide on the back right behind them. Scattered all the way across trying to get a position there.
And so Dale Earnhardt has done it again. The 4-time winner of Talladega, the Dega Dominator, wins it for a 5th here this afternoon. And so the 1993 Die Hard 500 at Talladega Superspeedway is over. But the memories here of Davey Allison will live on.
Looking back on the memory of the dance we shared beneath the stars above. For a moment, all the world was right. How could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye? And now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to miss the day.
A tribute to Davey Allison, a man who drove his first Winston Cup race here, won his first Winston Cup race here at Talladega, Alabama. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Dale Earnhardt rolled in here and he says, that's all it takes, just a couple of inches. How'd you win it?
By a couple of inches. It really is. You know, it was a tough day. Man, it's close racing all day long. Lucky my buddy Neil didn't get hurt. I was thankful for that. He was having a good time, though, and I don't think I scared him any. I think he's ready to go again. But, you know, his Jim Goodwin Chevrolet ran good, and all the guys did a good job. It was just...
Yeah, but how'd you beat Ernie?
I don't know. It was all racing each other. Kyle looked like he got a little loose, and I decided, well, I better go on in front of him, and I got in front of him, and then Ernie and Dale and the rest of them won the races, so I was fortunate to beat them. I got beside with Ernie, and Mark got in there behind Ernie and was trying to push him, and Kyle was behind me, and I had to go back down the bottom and suck off the side of Ernie's car to beat him back just about inches. That's all it takes.
Great job, Bill. Congratulations.
6th win of the season, 59 of his career. Here's a better look at that finish.
What he's talking about, a suck off the side of that car. Watch him, he'll pull. He's out high. He said he pulled in right to the side of that car. It gives you just a little bit of pull. And like you said, Ned, it just takes a little bit.
Final standings here today in the Die Hard 500 at Talladega. It's Earnhardt again victorious. Ernie Irvan comes up second. Martin, Kyle Petty, and Dale Jarrett. Greg Sachs came home in 6th. Morgan Shepherd was 7th today. Harry Gant was 8th. Brett Bodine 9th. And Wally Back was 10th. Earlier today, we brought you coverage of the 1993 Tour de France. Indurain was the leader when we left. Now let's rejoin James Brown and Phil Liggett for the conclusion of that race in Paris.
And today, the last stage of the Tour de France, 123 miles, bringing the riders into Paris. The cards have been played. Val Alcala hadn't won the Tour de France. In Europe, it's yellow for danger. And there was no danger now for the yellow jersey of Miguel Indurain under the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. The 136 survivors, all in the field together, were now arriving on the Place de la Concorde. And all that remained was to put on a show to the thousands who had turned out to watch them. And in the finish, it was the fastest sprinter left in the race, Jamaluddin Abdul-Japarov, who took the line first. At the back of the field, the yellow jersey of Miguel Indurain cruised in. He'd won his 3rd Tour de France.
Miguel Indurain covered the 2,325 miles of the Tour de France in just under 96 hours. Tony Rominger held on to 2nd place in a tour that he might have won. And here's a look at the rest of the significant finishers. So Miguel Indurain, with his 3rd consecutive win, does in fact accomplish his goal, etching his name among the other immortals of cycling's greatest event, the Tour de France.
El llegar aquí a los Campos Elíseos de Amarillo, una satisfacción grata después de haber pasado toda una temporada trabajando y luchando por ese triunfo.
So for Phil Liggett and all of us at CBS Sports here in France, I'm James Brown saying au revoir.
At first, I think this guy is just sucking up to my dog to come on to me, and then I can tell my dog is falling in love with him, and I think, well, he's just being the easy, sloppy hound he always is until he gets this stupid, blissful look on his hairy seal puppy face, and I know it's for real, so I split a Coke with the guy.
Baby, don't you drive around with Dr. Bernice. That ain't a real Cadillac. It's a Delta 88, spray painted black, with fake leather seats from Juarez.
Yeah, you're right, Judd. There's no beach traffic.
Easy. I went out. There's a Coke machine.
Man, I'm so hot.
You certainly are.
Hot as in sweaty.
Hey, so crank on the AC.
Air conditioning is for the weak, like yourself.
I'm sticking to the seat like yourself.
That
Please
dog is
don't.
moving faster than we are.
All you guys ever do is complain.
Your shoes are pretty.
Could someone please fan me?
No. Coca-Cola, anyone?
Yeah!
Thank you, Alan, for serving a purpose in my life for the first time.
Well,
You're very welcome.
time together.
This is a test. Can you read that line?
Pure.
And the next?
Clean.
Good. And the one below?
Taste.
Well, when it's that clear, imagine how pure Nestee's going to taste. Nestea iced tea, clearly refreshing. Go on, take the plunge.
So I walk up to this great babe type, and I'm walking a real cool walk, you know, like in a movie, and I have an opening to offer an ice cold Coke. When I get right in breathing distance, I go to complete nervous, meaningless lump of stupid, and I drink the Coke myself.
The great masters defined civilization in Europe. Now we're defining it on the way there. United Airlines' renowned international service to 15 cities all across Europe. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
This is CBS.
Now appearing, a well-equipped Dodge Shadow for around $10,000. Dakota Club Cab with a Magnum V6 and almost $3,100 in total savings. or own this caravan, including air at no extra charge for under $15,100.
In order to be able to succeed in home health, you have to be able to pull from all aspects of your nursing education when you're in the home. The care of the patient is under the control of the physician, and the nurse follows through with the plan of care. The majority of nurses that are involved in home health have all worked in the hospital environment and gotten their training through there.
Join the team that cares. Call 1-800-WORK-ABC.
Midwest levees start to give way under the weight of flooding rivers. Rocket attacks on northern Israel after the Israelis hit guerrilla bases in southern Lebanon. And the new ceasefire in Sarajevo goes up in smoke. This is the CBS Evening News. And this is John Roberts reporting. Good evening. Disaster officials are saying tonight that rivers in the Midwest could stay above flood stage for another month. And across the area today, the immense pressure of relentless rains and floodwaters overwhelmed efforts to keep those rivers contained. Levee after levee has been undermined and broken through. Bob Orr is in Alton, Illinois with the latest. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening, John. The Clinton administration now says this has moved past a disaster to, quote, a calamity. Communities are at risk every day behind these levees, and floodwaters are continuing to pound the levees each and every day up and down the Mississippi Valley.
In Quincy, Illinois, water is crashing through a section of the second longest levee on the Mississippi, flooding over 30,000 acres of farmland. Already 100,000 acres have been lost, and many more could be. Another break today in Perryville, Missouri, where the Mississippi swept through this levee, flooding over 20,000 acres of land. Just upriver, more evacuations are underway. And in St. Joseph, Missouri, the latest flood wave has knocked out water service there to 77,000 people.
Well, I'm glad I'm getting water instead of being flooded.
In churches up and down the Mississippi today, people are praying for relief while bracing for the heavens to unleash more rain, creating a third wave of record floodwaters. All of that water now is heading downriver, making this a critical week for the soggy levees and the people who are racing again to stay ahead of the rising waters.
I think we're going to have to do a lot more bagging.
In areas like South St. Louis, volunteers are piling more sandbags on top of their already straining levees, preparing for at least another foot of floodwater.
Every time you think there's relief, you know, the next onslaught comes downriver. So we're besieged by it.
New forecasts call for the river to reach 48 feet in St. Louis, a foot higher than last week, breaking yet another record. But the people here for now are holding on to their spirit, praying too that the levees will hold, and still waiting for brighter and drier days.
Today has been relatively kind, little or no rain in the area. It's very muggy and very steamy, but no rain, and that's important. But every time the people in these valleys get their hopes up, some other bad news floats down the river. John?
Bob, with the ground beneath these levees now saturated, is there concern that more of them that have held up so far are going to start to let go?
No doubt about it. Particularly, they're watching the ones south of St. Louis around St. Genevieve. The problem is the levees have been standing. They're very soggy. It's hard to detect underneath the water what's going on. If the bags underneath give way, then soon that can wash out. The tops can collapse. And I suspect that maybe, I say maybe, what happened today in Quincy.
Bob Orr on the Flood Watch in Alton, Illinois. Thanks. All along the Mississippi Valley, the tug of war between people fighting to save what's theirs and a river determined to reclaim what it once owned has been going on now for weeks. Each new crest, each new levee break is falling on people already driven to exhaustion. Terrence Smith reports on how one town is coping with stress. It's rising as quickly as the floodwaters.
We are gearing up for the worst flood in this city's history.
In Alton, Illinois today, Mayor Bob Taus and other residents of this small industrial city across the river from St. Louis were once again preparing to do battle with the Mississippi. People of Alton had thought the worst was behind them. But this weekend, they learned that heavy rains upstream will shortly bring more trouble.
New crest next week will be 41.5 feet, which will be a record flood here in Alton.
Half of the town's riverfront business district has been underwater for almost 3 weeks. Mayor Taus has been doing what he can to keep up the spirits of shop owners like Gene Childress, whose antique store is just a few feet from the rising river.
It's not even real. I can't believe it.
I know.
This is Chinese water torture. There's no doubt about it.
John Tripp is a psychologist who has been helping flood victims cope with the stress of a sustained crisis.
We're probably looking at an increase in probable suicide rates as people are not only bankrupt, they're destitute, they're real sad, and that's the kind of pain that never goes away.
Some representative troops at each one of those sites to support us.
Mayor Taus, a retired engineer who took office just 3 months ago, thinks the people of Alton are bearing up well.
I see people tired, but I don't see angry people. I don't see tempers flaring. I see tired people sometimes meeting a new challenge.
In at least one respect, the people of Alton are more fortunate than many of the Mississippi flood victims. Their homes are generally on high ground. They have running water and electricity, and so far at least, no one has had to be evacuated. And as the flooding continues with no end in sight, they are getting on with their lives.
Dearly beloved,
Lisa Jameson and Darren Jones got married yesterday in a city park. At Memorial Hospital, Ms. Haley Freeman, at 6 pounds 7 ounces, became the newest resident of Alton. Terrence Smith, CBS News, Alton, Illinois.
In the Middle East, Israel has launched its fiercest attacks into Lebanon in more than a decade. Warplanes and helicopters pounded guerrilla targets all day long. Those attacks have not gone without response, and there are casualties, Lebanese, Syrian, and Israeli. Jesse Schulman has more on the fighting on both sides of the border.
Weeks of warnings today came true. Israeli jets attacked in southern Lebanon, near Beirut, and deep into the Bekaa Valley, killing at least 12. The target, bases belonging to Iranian-backed Hezbollah fundamentalists and Palestinian extremists, whose gunmen have killed 6 Israeli troops so far this month in the strip of southern Lebanon Israel calls its security zone.
We cannot accept and we are not going to accept this attempt to change the rules of engagement in this area.
Those unwritten rules say Israel hits back hard if rockets land on Israeli soil. Dozens did. At least 2 people were killed tonight when one hit the Galilee town of Kiryat Shimona. Along the borders, civilians were warned to take shelter. Families faced an uncomfortable night underground. All day, Israel continued to build up its forces on the ground, in case the other side still isn't ready to back down. These latest clashes could derail the Middle East peace process. Syria says one of its bases was hit in the air raids and at least 2 of its soldiers killed. But senior officials in Jerusalem say they're sure the talks will go on.
It is in the interest of all parties concerned to continue with the peace negotiation.
But talks or no talks, Prime Minister Rabin has pledged to take further military action, perhaps moving ground troops farther into Lebanese territory if Israel's border towns aren't left alone. So far, there's little to indicate they will be, and little to suggest this latest flare-up is about to start cooling down. Jesse Schulman, CBS News, Jerusalem.
The latest Bosnian ceasefire has been shredded on the battlefield. Warring Serbs, Croats, and Muslims had agreed to stop fighting as a condition for peace talks scheduled to begin Tuesday in Geneva. But just hours after the accord went into effect, the shells started falling. And as Martha Teichner reports, most of them were aimed at the United Nations.
It was a nice ceasefire. That was the comment of a UN soldier in Sarajevo when the Serbs fired 68 artillery rounds into their base today in just 45 minutes. An end to the fighting is supposed to be the prerequisite for new peace talks to start in Geneva Tuesday. The best the UN could come up with was that the shelling was on a reduced scale from yesterday. The UN spokesman blamed the Serbs for most of the ceasefire violations around Sarajevo, but all 3 sides, Serbs, Croats, and Muslims, accused each other of breaking the truce. Claiming innocence, the commander of the Bosnian Serb army, General Ratko Mladic, appeared to be issuing a threat. "We shall see what we will do next," he said. The question is whether the Serbs intend to go all the way and crush Sarajevo or let the city's fate be decided in the Geneva talks. The Bosnia Muslim president, Alija Izetbegovic, only reluctantly agreed to attend if the fighting stops. Should he go to Geneva, he has a rough choice. Let what was his country be carved up 3 ways along ethnic lines by the negotiators, or let it be done on the battlefield. In the mountains above Sarajevo, for days, the Serbs have been positioning themselves to choke the city. Some of the heaviest shelling has been around Mount Igman to the south. It's said whoever controls Mount Igman controls Sarajevo. In the hours leading up to today's ceasefire deadline, there were fierce Serb artillery attacks from the north as well. They are apparently trying to secure the noose so that if the peace talks fail, they will be ready to draw it tight. Martha Teichner, CBS News, London.
The Pentagon says a U.S. warplane fired on a missile battery in the southern Iraq no-fly zone this weekend after the plane was tracked on Iraqi radar. Iraq denied the U.S. claim and said the American pilot must have been, in its word, hallucinating. Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, the partisan fight over flood aid in Congress and the graybeards of rock and roll, getting older and more popular every day.
I'm loving this energy all morning.
It's Grape Nuts Discover the Difference Week. Discover what a good breakfast with Grape Nuts can do. The fat-free natural energy source. I feel great. Don't miss Grape Nuts Discover the Difference Week. Look for special displays.
My lord, the killer was eating cookies.
Quite right.
But my client doesn't eat cookies. She eats Fig Newtons.
Case dismissed.
A cookie is just a cookie, but Newtons are fruit and cake.
Whoa, boy! You know, at Quality Comfort Clearing and Sleep Hotels, kids and grandkids not only get to stay free, good boy, they also get a free Choiceosaurus. Pretty cool, huh? Stay boy. So call 1-800-4CHOICE to reserve your room now because offers like this only come once every 16 million years.
Kids stay free and get a free Choiceosaurus. Supplies are limited. Call 1-800-4CHOICE.
When you think about plastic, you may think about things like toy cars on your living room carpeting. Think again about a real car with dent-resistant plastic fenders. When you look at plastic bottles, you probably think they can't be recycled. Take another look. Millions are being recycled every day into things like plastic toy cars and your living room carpeting. To learn more, call this number for a free booklet and take another look at plastic.
6 children, all of them under 6 years old, died in Philadelphia early today when a fire roared through the home where they had been left unattended. 2 older children survived. Police said the mother of 5 of those who were killed left them alone to walk a friend home. In Perryville, Arkansas, 7 members of one family, including an infant, were killed today in a river boating accident near a wildlife reserve. Police said 9 people had crowded into the boat, which was designed to carry just 3. There were no life jackets, and only 1 family member knew how to swim. Treasury Secretary Lloyd Bentsen says rebuilding efforts after the Midwest floods might actually stimulate the U.S. economy. He says the recovery will mean, quote, lots of concrete poured, a lot of tractors working. But as Randall Pinkston reports, so far, Washington's response to the disaster has been partisan bickering.
After a bitter fight over ground rules for a flood relief bill, Republican leaders now say they are ready to send aid to the victims without paying for it first.
I think we ought to figure out some way to pay for it. I happen to think it's a true emergency, doesn't need to be offset, but certainly if we can find a way to pay for it, it's fine with me.
Conservatives had been insisting that the flood aid be paid for and not added to the deficit as emergency spending.
All people were saying was, let's at least try to pay for the relief that we're sending. Let's not make our children or our grandchildren pay for that.
With flood victims suffering enormous financial losses, the feeling among Democrats is to pay now, deal with the deficit later.
I think we ought to consider doing that, but after this particular disaster pattern has been taken care of, and these millions of Americans in the Midwest have not been disadvantaged by a change of policy in the middle of the game.
Flood relief is expected to pass later this week. The president's budget package faces a